something more positive instead of negative. However, you're like, but then my heart wants me to do something else. Do you notice your heart will always win because your heart is the one that tells your mind what to think. And then eventually your mind tells your body what to do. So, with this is called alignment. Your soul, your heart, your mind, and your body. That's how that vertical positioning is is called when we are in alignment. In other words, what we think, we feel, we say, and do match. So now, what about these miracles that people are talking about? Well, if you remember, we're all miracles. If you have forgotten, and I posted on Facebook yesterday, like, what kind of miracles have you experienced in your life, right? And then I put a little picture there that says, if you have forgotten that you are actually a miracle, you may have to remember that again. And through this show, My Spiritual GPS, I am bringing in different people, different guests, different stories, because your GPS, your spiritual GPS, will always take you where you need to go in order to grow. So, yes, we all have our stories. We all have our destination. We all want to reach our soul purpose and figure out what we need to do in this planet, right? But at the same time, we also have baggages. And when we have baggages, it causes us so much pain and struggle and suffering because sometimes those are necessary ingredients for us to get where we're going. So, because of that, I would love to really share with you a bit of my story on how I even got here to begin with. So, last week, I mentioned to you that my biggest awakening for my soul to find where it needs to go is my stroke, right? It's the warning sign for a stroke. And that became my emergency. I had to wake up because it's either I go to the other side and die or be physically disabled here. And I'm thinking, shall I continue my life this way or should I change the direction and trajectory of my life so that it doesn't look so dramatic like this? So obviously, I'm from the Philippines and I came to America. And believe it or not, I was actually not going to be a physical therapist initially. I was thinking about something medical. And I thought, well, I need to be a medical technologist. And I think here in America, you call that a phlebotomist. Like we would draw blood. And then I thought to myself as I used my imagination to fast forward, like, am I going to just draw blood all the time? And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to do that. I changed my mind the last minute. And since I was valedictorian in high school, it does help that you have some clout in that department, right? Because I was so focused on really learning how to be a good student. Because I thought, well, if I'm not pretty enough, if I'm not good enough at other things, and I thought maybe I should have good grades. So then I graduated as valedictorian in our high school in the Philippines. And then I said, well, maybe I don't want to be a medical technologist. I decided to switch to being a physical therapist because my mother said, hey, you want to go to America? Right? And I love traveling and I love going to different places. And I said, I am going to America, so I need to be a physical therapist to do that. So my soul directed me to the principal's office, and last minute, talk about emergencies. I love last minute. And I said to myself, I'm going to change my career and I want to be a physical therapist. Well, the enrollment has ended. It's closed. And they said that I'm sorry, you missed it. You're going to have to wait and change your major next year. Well, I don't like waiting, as you can see. I'm very fast when it comes to delivery of any results. So then I said, my question to the universe was, how can I get in this class this year? And so a thought came, right? Because your intuition will give you answers and it doesn't argue with you. I asked a question. The answer was go to the principal's office and ask for the principal. And they said, no, the doctor is in the hospital right now. You can't do that. You may have to go there. So then I thought, well, how can I make my case stronger? So I went back to the high school principal, who's a priest, and I said, is it possible for you to give me a letter of recommendation so I can enter physical therapy? And he did, and the rest was history. So I was given, I guess, a special pass to actually enroll in physical therapy. And 4 years later, I became a physical therapist. And I wanted to be a doctor, but then I thought, because I wanted to help people, right? Like heal a lot of their sicknesses. But then I thought, well, I don't want to wait another 4 or 5 years to graduate as a doctor. I think I'm going to America. Hence, America came, and here I am. And there were lots and lots of opportunities. And as you know, from physical therapy, I went to energy healing. And then now I am delivering this show to all of you so that we can make a difference in your lives. And you can start thinking of a different way to just solve your problems. And so I wanted to share with you some of the people that, with these tools that I have learned over the years and I've incorporated, and with a fast delivery, like what happened to the people that somehow their lives got touched because of this work. So I'm going to call in a client of mine, Sarah. And by the way, Sarah is also my videographer, because I had another TV show in another network, same title, My Spiritual GPS. And she has really brought in her genius in bringing in the right script, bringing in the right theme, bringing in the right flow in order to produce a show that really would captivate the audience. So I want to welcome Miss Sarah Sharyar. Hi, Sarah. How
Hi there.
are you?
Hi, Vivian. Good, thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Of course, of course. So can you share with them somehow, because how your miracle started? So I think we met at a networking event, right? At some
Yes.
hypnotherapy event. And
Yeah.
I guess Sarah had some symptoms. You know, you can just tell that she's not moving like herself. So share with them your story, Sarah, how the miracle came about.
Well, it's quite profound. You know, I even have a hard time finding words for it, and I just do my best to absorb, you know, little by little, because, like I said, it's so profound. And you know, there's a feeling that you have that you're. I mean, I don't know if this speaks to everyone, but to me, like, there's a feeling that I've always had of who I'm supposed to be in life, where I'm supposed to be in this world, what my
Right.
role is. Like, you always have this underlying understanding and feeling, but if the outside of you doesn't match that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it is literally, it's a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to explain it.
Right.
And to shift from such a dark place where um, I figured, okay, you know, this is it. This must be it. Um, it took me what, 4 or 5 months to reach out to you eventually, when I was like at my
Yeah.
complete breaking point,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um,
And I
and
knew you weren't ready when I first met you, because you were talking about your story. And it's not
yes,
that your
no,
story is not valid, right? Because
right,
you experience the pain. You
right.
experience the lack of mobility, like you can't turn your
It was
neck,
my
you can't
it
do
was my
anything.
narrative. It was my
Yeah.
narrative. It was the story I had created from
Yep.
my understanding, from my limited understanding, uh, a place of truly limited thinking,
Mm,
and the pain that I was in, the state of completely being hopeless,
yeah.
um,
I remember.
of thinking that this is it. You know, after having cervical spine surgery, you just, I wasn't getting better. And not only was I not getting better, everyone around me was saying, you know, shouldn't you be better right by now? What's taking you
Yeah.
so long to get better? And it's like I was already going through so much of my own not knowing and not understanding. And truly, truly, one of the most important things that changed my life was learning grounding. And before I even met Vivian, obviously I have been involved in researching and seeking knowledge about energy in the world, because eventually I googled. I said, why do I keep getting in accidents? Why do I have so much resistance? I literally started googling these questions because I said, there's got to be someone else that's going through what I'm going through.
Right.
And a long time ago, I came across this video that was talking about grounding and connecting, and that is where my life started shifting. I met you,
Mm,
and people think that working with you is just magic. It's, you snap your fingers and it's I mean, that is a big part of it,
right.
but to have mobility within days that never thought I would have.
Yeah, because your doctor kept
um,
on saying
yeah, well,
you're gonna
imagine you
suffer
come out
from
of
pain for
surgery.
years, right? Like
Yeah,
forever.
imagine you come out of surgery and the first thing the doctor says to you, and of
Mm,
course he's covering his own behind,
yeah,
the
definitely.
first thing the doctor says, okay, you're okay, good. You might need another surgery in another year. And that's the
Wow.
first thing he put into my head as I woke up and out of surgery. So,
Yeah.
I literally couldn't move my neck. There was just so much stiffness and pain and muscle spasms. It was getting to a point where it messes with your head, like your
Yeah.
daily life. I was not stable. I was not
Yep.
in a stable place. Later
Right.
on, I found out I had a concussion, which I didn't even know.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
people keep asking, why aren't you? Shouldn't you be better by now? And
Mhm.
um, after I met you, I realized that there was a whole nother story to this,
Right.
um, beyond what my understanding was, completely beyond.
Right.
And to me, the miraculous thing was I didn't even work with you in person.
Yeah.
I
It
I
was long
couldn't
distance.
drive.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everything is energy.
right. And I thought, okay, if this is not in person, I don't know how this is going to help me. And
How is it gonna work? Right. Yep.
right. And even the first time I worked with you in the tailbone class, literally I couldn't move, and I didn't have full access of both of my arms. So
Right.
imagine you can't use your arms, the amount of complete loss of control, that, like,
Yeah.
you surrender, but it's a scary place to surrender to if you don't know, you don't have direction and guidance. And when you did the tailbone, I did the tailbone class with you. That was my first class with you. Then the night before, I was praying, and I was grounding myself and connecting, and like, please just show me what I need to do to clear these blocks, everything that's blocking my life. And then boom, I get a message from you, and I said, okay, I'm going to move forward with this regardless of what, because it's
Yeah.
just too, it's not an accident, that
Mm,
that what I call is being aligned to a direction, your path.
mhm.
The miraculous thing about the universe and the world that we live in is your path will align, and it
Yeah.
seems like
It will.
magic, but you're just truly following your purpose. And
Yeah,
if you
because your
truly
soul
follow,
is looking for some
right.
direction, right?
Right,
Yep.
right. And
Yep.
and it's no longer this uphill battle. And after the getting treated by your class, my arms, and again, this is not for the faint of heart. people think
Yeah.
that People think this is going to just be quick and easy. No.
Yep.
Y- You have to
You have to.
absolutely face every single limitation that you have inside of you, in your mind, from this
Yep.
space, from this time, from ancestors, from other
Yep.
lifetimes. You have to be so open to the knowledge, and not think that you know everything. And I mean, you, like, literally, when I come to you, Vivian, I don't know anything. I put my faith in the divine, and I
Yep.
know that I'm here for a reason. And
Yep.
plus, what I'm learning is so profound. And then just working with you over the phone the second time, um, I again, it was over the phone. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And when I listened to my recording, I still had my stories, girl. I was like, I
Mhm.
listen to it now and I'm like, gosh, I had so many stories. Um, but
Sorry.
but what like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, because if you have to face the most painful things that are blocking you and that are holding you back from achieving your truest and highest self,
right.
those things hurt.
Yeah.
And they hurt initially. They
They're
hurt to
heavy.
be yeah, they hurt to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that this is connected to your past life in some way, and having answers like that, being that I myself am a highly sensitive person, so I feel things, I see things, I understand things from a different place. And if I can work with Vivian and get good reviews from her, man, I have like reached my like the like
You're an excellent videographer, and
yeah,
it's
but
funny though because that was one part of your life, but your journey continues to
right,
be
right.
a different path. To
Hmm.
be able to touch the world in different ways with your music, with your song.
Especially when you want to, when
Yeah,
like I said to myself, I know I'm not meant to be in bed like this.
yeah,
We're not dancing, not singing, not performing. I said,
yep.
I know that this is not my life. This is
Mhm.
not what I worked so hard for, to be in a position where I'm completely unable to fulfill my core desires, which
Yeah,
feels like my path in life. And through you, not only has my entire narrative and beliefs shifted, I came out from a place that I always knew wasn't me. It's like
yeah,
here I am, but I'm programmed to be like my mom, like my
yeah.
dad, and it's not
Yeah, it's
it's not
programming my
fair.
family. Yep,
And
yep.
it's not fair because I'm not them. I
Yeah,
should be living my own life and
your
my own
own life,
truest self.
your
And
own
not
version.
only that, but that serves a higher purpose. That's
Exactly.
I'm serving, the universal expansion by
Yeah,
doing what I
exactly.
that's doing what you're meant to do is the easiest way. Like when I'm filming and when I'm working in production, I could work 15-hour days and I don't feel it. But if you tell me to go and, like, I don't know, answer phones for an hour or something, I will be so exhausted and like resisting the entire way. But truly, the miracles that I've seen in my health and my
Mhm.
mental health and the clarity and the direction of my goals, my dreams, like
Yeah,
I can already see where my life is going to be. And
yeah. That's
and like
right.
I said, it's truly the most challenging thing I have put myself into,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
the investment that I put in myself, the challenge facing all of my own self. It
Yeah, that's
is
very
it
courageous, Sarah.
it's
Yeah,
it truly feels like you do. It takes this incredible amount of courage, and
exactly.
the release, and then again, the you have to release these things for your body to feel better.
Yes,
And every time you work on me, like weeks later, I am
you're still feeling it.
still feeling it. It gets
There's
better
a lot
and
of
better.
changes.
I mean,
Yes,
I couldn't even do Pilates, a month ago.
right.
Literally, I couldn't walk more than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
My neck was so bad I wasn't sleeping. My literally, I couldn't sing. I
right,
could
right.
not sing. I had horrible allergies. I had tension. And then Vivian's like, puts me through this thing, and I come out of it, and literally an hour later, I have my voice back, and I was just playing around singing some song on the radio, and I wait a minute, is that my voice? Like it came back. That's
Yeah,
same thing
because
with my neck.
imagine your investment of trying to get the right lozenges, trying to drink the right tea. I mean, it's not like
The doctor. I went to
correct.
the
Yeah, the right
and
medicine, that
yeah,
takes time, right? Time and energy. And you're like, okay, if I just do this a few more weeks or months or years, I'm going to get better.
right.
But that's
Yeah.
where people get stuck, right? They're like,
Yeah, literally
yeah,
you think that you have to rebuild everything, and this whole like everyone says, oh, recovery takes time. Well,
Oh,
I don't know, but the energetic spinal work that you
yeah.
do
Mhm.
is unbelievable. Like
Oh, thank you.
what
Thank
my
you.
body's doing, because I love exercise. I was
Yeah, yeah.
always
We're
working
meant to
out.
move. Yep,
Yeah,
we're meant
I was always the girl with the abs and and here, like, now when I'm working out again, it is like a whole new,
to.
it's like brand new.
Yep.
But yeah, it truly is miraculous. But again, you still have to understand that it's you are facing yourself at the end of the
Yeah.
day, and
So,
you're just helping us face it.
yeah, exactly.
The
Well, thank
truth,
you.
man, the truth.
Truth. Yeah, the truth has a certain frequency, and sometimes it's very inconvenient, right? But
Right,
it has a ring to it. And when
right.
you're finally in that truth, it changes
Hmm.
everything. So
Right.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Sarah.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Vivian. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward, really forward to the next um, you know, to the next year of what continued working with you, continued learning, the progress.
Thank
I
you.
am looking forward. I deserve this.
Exactly. You
Thank
deserve
you.
it. You
Heck
deserve it.
yeah. Feels amazing.
Awesome.
Thanks
Okay.
again.
Oh, all right. Hold on a second, guys.
Sure.
My mouse decided to freeze. Oh, now it's good. All right. So this is our little bit of our technical glitch, and now we're back. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So there's a few questions before I bring in some people here. Oh, okay. I do want to welcome our next guest, Miss Lisa Brown McCulloch. She is a famous hypnotherapist, and she's the yes therapist, the yes girl. And we traveled together in Egypt at the Women's Economic Forum. We were invited by our good friend Didi Wong. Thank you, Didi, for that invitation. And Lisa, I know that you and I somehow met for a reason. I had this download one day that I needed to go to this Holistic Chamber of Commerce meeting, which a few years back when I was mapping the energy, because I can see the past, present, future, right? And I was meditating, and my guide said, go to the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in Irvine or Tustin. And I'm thinking, why do I have to go there? But anyway, I decided to just follow without question, because your intuition never argues. And if you don't argue, you're going to be fine, right? Because that's the faith and trust in the higher power. So I decided to go. And I was wearing, I decided to wear a beautiful yellow, bright yellow dress because the speaker was going to talk about medical intuition. And I said, I wonder how different that is from what I teach. So then this Lisa showed up, and there's a lot of us there. And Lisa, go ahead and take over from there. How we met, and then how the miracles weaved into our lives somehow.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vivian. I'm so honored to be here today. The interesting thing about our meeting was I brought my husband as well.
Right.
And he says, why are we going? I go, I don't know, but you're going with me. But I don't want to go. I understand, but you're going with me anyway. And we were going because we were going to listen to a talk about a medical intuitive teacher who is teaching down in San Diego. And I was very interested because she was teaching a chiropractor that I had met the month before at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And she was pretty amazing as well.
Yep.
And so Vivian is talking and she's saying, I am a human MRI. And I'm going, that's fascinating. And my husband heard MRI, so he thought she worked in a hospital. And so we were sitting in an area in the meeting where when the speaker spoke, we couldn't hear her. all of a sudden the refrigeration unit would go off, and we could rarely hear anything at all. But we listened. She put us through an exercise, and at the end, I said, "Am I supposed to talk with her?" And I got no. And my husband kind of scanned the room and says, "Is there anybody here for me to speak with?" And he kind of got a no too. So he went and sat outside and waited for me.
On a rock.
On a rock. He went outside in front of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in Tustin and sat on a rock and said, "I'll wait for my wife." Well, then all of a sudden, Vivian, wearing a bright yellow dress, disappeared. And I said, "Where did she go? I have to talk to her. I don't know why, but I have to talk to her." And I ran through the room. There's no bright yellow dress. I run outside to the parking lot. There's no bright yellow dress. And all of a sudden I said, "Well, she was near the ladies' room. Maybe she went there." And all of a sudden she comes out. And we both stand right in front of one another. I said, "I want to talk to you." And she goes, "I want to talk to you." And this was the beginning. Everybody, this was the beginning. Because I will fast forward 9 months later after I met her, and she helped save my life. So you never know who you're going to meet and why you're going to meet. And just be open. It's like no matter where you go, if you go out in the world and say, "Who do I get to meet today?" your world will be different. Yep. Instead of thinking that, "Oh gosh, I have to talk to this person. I don't know why this person." We never know. Mm-hmm. So I want to explain a couple of the miracle stories that Vivian took part in, and then I can tell mine. And Vivian, if you want to interject anything, please let me know.
Sure. And somehow Lisa has been one of my best connectors of all times, right? Honestly, she has connected me to people I don't even know who they are, but because I'm so neutral and open to, well, I don't know where this leads, so let's just go for it. And sometimes it's super complicated, right, Lisa? She always brings me these emergency cases, okay? Somehow she probably thinks, "I think she can help you." And I'm like, "Why me?" But then I realized that journey, the path is about the miracles that were about to unfold. So share with them your first miracle that somehow you brought to my attention.
Well, this is very unusual because with Vivian, I introduced her to the International Hypnosis Federation, and she was willing to go with me. She became a speaker on the stage with over 100 hypnotherapists. Mm-hmm. And so she trusted me, and she met some amazing people. She did some amazing work for some people too that they would never have been able to access without her being there. Fast forward, I went to the Anaheim hypnotherapist meetup meeting. Yep. And the story starts like this. I was almost 2 hours early because I said, "Oh, I want to meet these people. I want to talk to them. I'm so excited." And for some reason, I could not find that meeting. I drove up and down streets for over an hour and a half. I had gotten a new iPhone, and the iPhone, I would type in the address, and the iPhone would say, "Got it," and then would go black. And I did not know what was happening. I was almost in tears because I was so excited to be invited and to be a part of it. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to get there. They're going to be doing hypnosis, and then I'm going to interrupt them, and then they're never going to want to bring me back." Everything went through my head. But something said,
"Right,
just keep going."
Yep.
They showed up at the meeting an hour and a half late. Everybody embraced me, welcomed me. They were finishing doing introductions, and they said, "Tell us about yourself." And I told them about myself, and then I told them about taking Vivian's vagus nerve class.
Oh yeah, at that time I was.
How to work with the vagus nerve to calm down people in trauma and things like that. And people were just all excited, and they were very interested. And we did our hypnosis information together. And then one woman said, "Do you think she could help my friend's grandson?" I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And they said he may be dying in the hospital, and they want to cut out his colon. And all of a sudden in my head was the loudest scream of no I have ever heard. And my eyes just flashed, and I went, Oh, yes, of course you can help. I immediately got to my phone. I got onto my phone immediately and I sent it to Vivian, and Vivian has no idea who this person is, what's going on. I don't know, but please, you have to do this right away.
Yeah.
They contacted her that night or the next morning. I think that night they contacted you and said, "Could you please help?" And you said, "Yes, I think I can." And I saw the picture of the child. The child was all jaundice. The child was, the mouth, the tongue was hanging out of the mouth, and he was dying. And my heart just almost hurt. And then Vivian contacted me and said, "Yes, I've worked with a child. He's going to be okay."
Yeah.
And then showed me the after picture, and I have never seen what I call a miracle like that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and the mom is here that I'm not going to mention any names, but thank you. She said that was the day our life changed. And that was sometimes, because I move so fast and I get teary-eyed when we talk about these miracles because, of course, if you're a mom and your child is in this mode that if the liver is going downhill, I mean, what are you going to do, right?
Right.
Because when your liver is downhill, you're going to get jaundice, you're going to be yellow. So obviously your gut's not working very well. So how do we get to these points? And it could be physical, emotional, mental, psychological, psychic, and spiritual. And unfortunately, we somehow wait for emergencies like this before we ask for help because we think that whatever we have is working. And that's the sad part is, you guys, if your life is working well, then you should be actually living your dream life right now, right? You should be excited when you wake up. So being a healer is not only a magical place to be, because we touch each other's lives. And by the way, I'm not the only one. You guys are so capable if you just follow your soul to take you where you need to go. This is the point, right? So was I afraid? Yeah, because then almost like does this person's life depend on you? But you're just an instrument of God at that point. You are not God. Okay, we're not God. But we are a creation of God. So we actually create the life that we would like to have in the planet. So now if we agree with all the limitations that society, culture, religion, and tradition tells us, of course we're going to be just like that. But I know when I die, that my tombstone, it shouldn't be looking like, oh, she's just an average woman that, she worked so hard, she made money, she provided for her kids, and then she died. I don't want my tombstone to look like that, right? I want to bring in some legacy that you've helped these people be more enlightened, maybe create more miracles, have their dreams come true in their lives. That's really what I want to do in life. So yeah, so that was thank you, Mom, for that. It was a miracle, and she was forever grateful to me and you, Lisa, because somehow you introduced me to the grandmother, actually to her friend. And then the friend reached out to the grandmother, and then the grandmother reached out to me, and then the mom reached out to me. So that's how the lives have changed. So when somebody was asking a question about the process of being a healer, yes, we do awaken, right? That's the first part of our spiritual journey. And it could be because of an emergency or some form of an illness, or sometimes it's just a little tap on the shoulder. Like there's some little problems that you have to address in relationship or money or health. It could be anything, right? And then we go do discovering. We discover what our purpose is like. So that's where the journey begins. But the surrender part is where people just don't want to surrender. It's like they want to bring the pieces of their lives from the past and bring it to the present and try to fix it, right? Like if you broke a vase, do you try to glue every little piece of it? And that's the thing is when God hits you with a 2x4, when there's an emergency, you do have to surrender and ask yourself some deep questions a little bit, because that's the time to show up differently in your life. And then the flow comes in, right? When you're in the flow. So Lisa, go ahead and share with them.
I'm gonna attempt to do two quick stories, and
Okay.
one will be mine. The next story is really important. Was we were at the hypnotherapy Anaheim meeting, and there was somebody there, and I said, I really think that you should work with Vivian. And everybody, I don't know where this comes from, but when it comes out, I know it's important.
Intuition.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I know it's important. I don't know why. And I get a phone call a month later, and the person saying, well, I have a headache. I've had it for 3 or 4 days, and silver streaks are coming out of my eyes. Now, I am like going, oh no, this is not a good sign. And before I got married, I lived with a nurse, and so I understand a lot of things are going on. But my intuition was like going, red alarms, red alarms, red alarms. And I said, well, I called her back, and I said, I think you should work with Vivian. Oh no, I'll be all right. I go, no, I don't think so. And then
she wants to go to the eye doctor.
Then she goes and tells me that she's gone for a 2-mile walk with her friend because her friend said walking gets rid of her headache. Now I'm in a state of heart failure because it's like I kind of know what might be coming up, and it's like you need to be still and not be walking. So I said, do you remember the story that I told you, how Vivian introduced herself to me? And she goes, no. I said, when she was a physical therapist, she was working, and one of the clients at the hospital sent her husband, who was a doctor, to see Vivian. And he had a headache, and it wouldn't go away. He used Botox. He used massage therapy. Now, remember, this is a doctor, right? He used drugs. He used heat packs, ice, everything. It would not go away. So the wife sent the doctor to see Vivian. And she started working on him, but she was working in the center of his chest, not on the part of the neck where he was having pain. And he grabs her hand and he goes, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm working on your twisted aorta. He turns white and he goes, you haven't talked to my doctor. You haven't seen my x-rays. What are you doing?
Right. Because I haven't gotten that report.
And Vivian said, well, at least you're not going to die, because the pain in the side of his neck was the blood was not getting to the brain. And that was not a good thing. So I told the lady the same story again. And she went, oh, I think I better call her. I said, yes, please. She called her. Thank God she did. And Vivian averted another major crisis.
That was actually an aneurysm about to form.
Yes,
in the head. So
yes,
so she went from not being able to see well because it was so blinding, the light for her. So when we have some kind of a congestion or a twisted artery in our blood vessels, which I happen to be able to see, so God gifted me this ability to see the inside of the body in 5D. So, and it's interesting, we think it's physical, but a lot of times when we twist arteries, it's because we take so many turns in our lives that are quite twisted, right? Because we can't handle the truth. We can't go straight to it. And that's how we get into that. Yeah, so Lisa, share your story on how you and I met again. I said to her, Lisa's fine. She can handle herself. I'm not going to treat her at all. But I keep on telling her, stay in your body, Lisa. Stay in your body. She's like, yeah. I do your stuff. Okay, good. And then one day in December.
Then one day, Lisa got to experience what it felt like to be, I guess, a miracle. That's all I'm going to say. I'm used to doing healing. I have studied many different types of healing. I've done Reiki. I've done human resonance therapy. I've done pranic healing. I've done kahuna healings. I've done everything. So as a healer, and as a hypnotherapist, I help other people heal. Well, one day I ended up with my own healing crisis. I got out of a car. I was parked in a parking lot. I got out of a car. The handicap parking was probably about 18 inches below me, and I was up a little bit higher. And the next thing I know, I'm down at the bottom of the handicap parking lot. How I got there, I don't know, but I will say that I do believe that there was some divine intervention, because I think the angels rolled me. If I had fallen, I would not be on this television program at all. I would have had a cracked skull. So I'm sitting down at the bottom and I'm going, well, this is interesting. Because normally when I go to fall, I usually keep running. I don't stop. And all of a sudden, I can't move very well. I can crawl over to the edge of the curb and sit on it, and I can't move. And I'm going, well, no, I'll just go ahead and use my healing techniques. Didn't quite work very well. So I'm sitting there, and a car drives up, and a woman jumps out and says, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Well, I'm not too sure." And she said, "Well, we have a dinner engagement, but I'll leave my husband with you, and he can watch you, and you can wait for your husband to reach you." And I said, "Okay." And I had put calls into him, and I couldn't get a hold of him. So her husband stayed with me. And then the lady from the restaurant came out. She said, "I can stay with her. You don't have to." And she said, "Do you think we should call the ambulance and the fire department?" I go, "I'd rather not, but can we wait 15 minutes? Because I didn't want to do this, everybody. I'm not of one. I don't like to go to the hospital. So I waited 15 minutes. I go, "Yeah, you better call them." So next thing I know, I end up with an ambulance and a fire truck. I've got 6 of the nicest and cutest guys. And they're all and they want to know if I'm all right. And I'm going, "I don't know." And they're asking me questions and I can answer them. They want to know what drugs I'm on. I said, "I don't take drugs." And they didn't believe that. And I said, "No, I can't take drugs."
You're very
I said, "I did the DNA testing and it says I can't take drugs." And they went, "Oh, that's interesting." So they took my blood pressure, which was very, very high. The top number was 165 over 200. I was in shock. And they said, "Well, we can take you to Hoag." And my brain said, "Not going to happen. You can go to the emergency care." I go, "I don't think so." I said, "I just want my husband." So they said, when your husband comes, we'll help you to the car, and he can take you." And I said, "Thank you very much." Well, my husband came, got in the car, texted Vivian. She said, "Stay warm. See you tomorrow." Now, for everybody to understand, I could not stand, I could not walk, and I could not support my weight. And Vivian said, "Stay warm," meaning sleep in the car tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. I drove to Vivian's office. My husband drove me to Vivian's office. And remember, I can't stand, I can't walk. So Vivian came out to the car and worked on me 2.5 hours, about 2 hours.
No, we put about an hour and a half, but it was raining, and I was by your car
in the rain,
and I saw a lot of blood vessels that ruptured, basically in her whole thigh, right at the back of her hamstring. So she doesn't even know that she has this big bruise from her buttocks to the back of her hamstring, right, the top part of her thigh. And I said, because when I palpated, so you touch the area, but I can see, right? So I can touch and I can see. Literally, the arteries that go down her legs are all twisted up. It kind of dislocated on one side. I think it went lateral or medial. I can't remember. But it went, and then it kind of twisted around her knee. So then, of course, she can't walk. Can you imagine if your blood vessel is about to burst? You cannot walk, okay? That's how
it's true.
Strokes and other circulatory issues happen.
So Vivian worked on me, and I said, "I have to go to the bathroom." She said, "Okay." I stood up, which was like absolutely,
because you need to reposition.
Right? You had me stand. You said, "Please stand," because you kept working on me while I was standing. And all of a sudden, it was like the entire body says, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." And Vivian says, "Okay, I'll walk you across the parking lot."